Well, the border track was great fun, and you know, I'm looking forward to the Adelaide show. Adelaide feels like home and I love catching up with people. But I'm looking forward to checking out some Flinders Ranges tracks too.
Alright, let's get Roothy up here, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to four driving, this man, he gets down on the floor, he's almost like a four driver. So give him a round of applause and talk to you about four driving.
Thanks, Gozzy.
Welcome, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thanks, Gozzy. It's always great meeting people at the shows, you know, having a bit of a yarn and all that stuff. And it's amazing how many young blokes are building their own trucks these days. I've got to say, I just encourage that all the way, especially when you can get out on the road in Milo too. We're about an hour out of Adelaide on our way home, and last night, looking for somewhere to eat, we pulled into the Gilbert Valley Hotel, which is just on the highway in a little town called Saddleworth. And the meal, we were the only people there. They were just about to shut, but Brian, the publican, yeah, no problems, hopped back out into the kitchen, whipped up the best meal I've had in weeks. Probably because I've been living off my own cooking. And Lynette, his wife, who, you know, they looked after us like you wouldn't believe. When you drive through a place like Saddleworth, you know, on the highway, there was the pub and a garage and that's about it. But the town itself actually leads off that. And it's almost our duty as travelling Australians to get out and see places like this, to stay in places like this, to spend a bit of money in places like this. Which reminds me, there's no one here. There's a phone number over there. We're going to go and ring them and find out how we managed to drop some money off for camping here for the night. Because it was just such a beautiful, hospitable feeling. Typical of South Australia, typical of country Australia. Come on, get out there yourself. We're heading out northeast and the country's starting to look pretty dry. But it's just beautiful roaring along through South Australia. Really is. Nothing but open road in your face. Ah, wonderful. And of course we've got to fuel up. Now, this is always interesting because Milo too is actually leading the pack. It's carrying the most weight, using the least fuel. The Jeep's petrol, so you expect it to use a little bit more. Paulie's 2H turbo, well, it's doing really well too. Diesels tend to do well, but he's still packing a bit of spare stuff, which I don't need these days. Thanks to that Brown and Davies tank strung up the middle, I've got a range of about 1800 k's. This is Peterborough, and this is me doing something I've always wanted to do, which is to have a look in the old railway carriage that they've got parked here. Peterborough used to be a big railway town in the day. You know, it was a big town full stop, still is. Not a lot going on here now though, but it'll come back because it's just beautiful. And it's funny for me walking through here because from the outside, it looks just like the old red rattlers we used to ride in when I was a young bloke. There's so much stuff here that used to be regular daily use stuff that, for me, that I can't help thinking I'm exceptionally old. But also it shows you how close our history is. Anyway, the carriages are just up here, so I'm going to go and have a look. Ah, how good's this, eh? You can sit in one of the carriages and they've got the scenery, which must have been shot at some stage out of the railway line. This is awesome. It feels like you're actually here. But you know what's really funny about this? This is a sleeper. Probably an upper class sleeper, first class sleeper they used to call them. And it's got a wash basin, it's got an extra bunk that folds down, got a couple of cupboards. Anyway, this is beautiful. Paulie and Richard are enjoying a bit of a blast from the past too. But pretty soon we're the ones blasting again, straight out on the dirt track to Bendleby. You know, it's awesome out here. I love South Australia. You get to see all the old stone buildings. The settlers here, when they built, they figured they were going to be staying forever, you know. And I guess they would have been, except they used timbers that didn't work too well, and then someone came along and pinched the tin. And before long, we've reached the sign to Bendelby. You beauty. Now, I've never been to Bendelby Ranges, but more than that, I've heard about this track up there called the Goat Track. And supposedly, people who know reckon it's the toughest track in South Australia. Well, we're going to find out. But first, we're going to drop by the homestead, book in, say good day to Jane and Warren, and their son Charlie too, because I've got a feeling it'll be Charlie who's going to show us the way. Oh, it's getting late in the day and it's just about time for dinner, but Charlie doesn't mind. He said, come on lads, I'll give you a bit of a quick look. You can see a lot from the lookout. Oh, I tell you what I could see, a whole lot of Flinders Ranges. Beautiful country, and I know that just over where the mountains flatten out, that's where the toughest bits are going to be. This is going to be the first time that Milo 2's really been tested under severe off-road conditions. We know the tub and canopy are really good for storing things on road, but how are they going to go off-road? Tub's just come back from Hilton, okay? Now, inside, he's lined it with a tub liner. This is my choice. This is Dominator. It's a polyurethane. I know a lot of the tradies up here use it. Up here, as in up this part of Australia, it's pretty popular stuff. It's about the hardest wearing surface you can get, you know, so how can you go wrong with that?
Go down the slide.
Whoa, there we go, guys.
Okay, come back towards me.
Back to
Okay,
them.
down. Down, down, down. All right, towards my side, push it over to me. Yep, there we go.
Whoa, that sounded good. Wow. What next, man? We're going to stick some rubbers under it?
Yes. All right,
Doesn't that look good?
it's looking good.
Hey?
So there we go, all bright and green. So now we're just going to take it and basically fit some conveyor belting rubber underneath the mounting points.
Yep.
Bolt it down on our 4 bolt points, and then we should be done.
How does this look? Just pure Toyota tin. Cool. Right, what we're doing here, Dean's just bunging in the standard Toyota spare wheel bracket just in the back of the tray, because that's what we're going to do initially until it's been down to Brown Davis and we've got our tanks sorted out in the middle. Then we can start thinking about locating both spares behind the cabin. But in a bit of an interim measure, one spare will go in the back up here. Cool. This Dominator liner is so tough, we've got to rethread the holes. You can't get bolts in. Beautiful, no worries. Well, she's evolved a bit more since then, the old Milo 2. But before we go and try it right out, we're going to duck back to the shearer's quarters and have a really big cook-up. Subscribe to the Roothy channel, it's free and you'll see it all here. Milo 2, brought to you by the best names in the business and a whole bunch of my mates helping out.